Men, this law will greatly affect you. Part 2. Men, this law will greatly affect you. Part 2. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we are going to be talking about men. This law will greatly affect you. Men, this law will greatly affect you. What law am I talking about? I am talking about the law that very few people know about now. Your grandparents, your great-parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents knew about this law. They knew about the law of reaping and sowing. Reaping and sowing means that whatsoever a man or woman soweth, that shall they also reap. Whatsoever a man or woman soweth, that shall they also reap. This means that whatever you do to another person, whether it's good or whether it's evil, it will come back to you. So if you do good to other people, good things will come back to you. If you do evil to other people, evil things will come back to you. You need to keep this in mind, because some people right now may be having hardships, hard times, financial problems, health problems, and many times those problems that you may be having in your life is due to the fact of the way in which you may have treated people in the past. And I got a couple of examples that I want to talk about to prove that what I'm saying is true. You see this law in operation when you go on a farm and you see a farmer take a seed and plant it in the ground, which is called sowing. And then when that seed turns into a tree, like an apple tree, and the farmer goes out and take the apples off the tree, that is what you call reaping. So you see the law of reaping and sowing in operation when you are on a farm, okay? And the same thing goes on in everybody else's life. Whatsoever a man or woman soweth, that shall they also reap. You need to keep this in mind. If you want things to go better for you in your life, always treat people like you want to be treated. Now, I have two different situations which came out with the same exact results. And what are those two situations? There was a man that was married, and there was a woman that I had been seeing, and she came from a family where there was about 7 or 8 kids. Unfortunately, what ended up happening was the father just decided he's just going to up and just leave for no particular reason. He just upped and left his wife with 7 or 8 kids to raise the 7 or 8 kids all by herself. Well, anyway, while I was dating this particular woman, all of a sudden, I happened to come over to see her one day, and I see this hospital bed sitting in the living room with the woman's father laying in the bed. Well, guess what ended up happening? And I must say that we are still talking about the subject of the law of reaping and sowing. The same man that left his wife with 7 or 8 children to raise by herself while he was gone doing whatever he was doing. The woman hadn't seen him in years. The same man had to come back to the same wife that he left, and the man had cancer, okay? The man literally, they put a hospital bed in the middle of the living room, and he had to come back to the same woman that he left with all those children. And when he came back, he had cancer. First of all, I don't understand how a person can have all these children by a particular woman and don't feel like he needs to take care of his own children. I don't understand that. But that's probably because I'm a responsible person. You have people out here, they'll get all types of people pregnant and won't spend no time with none of the kids, won't help the mother out in any way, shape, form, or fashion with any money whatsoever to help take care of his children, okay? I don't understand that. But here's a situation where you see the law of reaping and sowing in play. The man left this woman with all these children. did whatever he wanted to do for years, and had to come back and came back with cancer. That's story number one. Story number two, there was a lady that I was seeing, and while I was seeing her, all of a sudden, her father came back in town. And so I'm like, oh, I get a chance to meet your father, okay. At first, I thought the stepfather was the father, but she later on told me that her real father was coming to town. So I was like, okay, I'll get a chance to meet him. And so what I found out was that this man, now this is story number two, this man left her mother with 7 or 8 kids to run off and do whatever he felt like he wanted to do. Ran off, left his wife, left her with 7 or 8 children, and didn't help her anything, okay? Well, the father was coming back to the same wife that he left with all these children because he was now doing what you would call a tour of duty. What is the tour of duty that I'm talking about? The tour of duty that I'm talking about is the man, while he was out there doing whatever he wanted to do, he got cancer too. This is the second situation. Well, this man came back with cancer. And this is the second story that I'm telling you about. Same exact thing. These two men sat up here and left their wives with 6, 7, 8 children, went off and did whatever they wanted to do, didn't help the woman raise the children, didn't send her no money, didn't send the women any money, or rarely sent them any money, just went off and did their own thing. And in both of these particular situations, both of these men came back to the same women that they left with cancer. One guy was a hospital bed was put in the living room of the ex-wife, and so she had the chance to stand there and watch him die in the house. Okay, now that says something about her being a classy lady. The fact that she allowed this man to come back in the home after this man has left her for years to raise the kids by herself. The second guy, he was doing a tour of duty. What was the tour of duty? He had to come back to the same woman, apologize to her for leaving her with all these children, and he was going around the country to say goodbye. The reason he was going around the country to say goodbye to his family members because he was dying of cancer. So what is the point that I'm making in both of these situations? Same exact situation, 2 different people, 2 different men, okay? Both of them, after they left their wives with these kids to raise by themselves, while they went off and did whatever they wanted to do, they both end up having to come back to the same women that they left with cancer. And both of these men were dying. What is the point that I'm making? If you have a wife, kids, take care of your wife, take care of your children. They're your children. If you sit up here and leave all these kids for her to raise by herself with no help whatsoever, these are your children, okay? These are your children. I don't even understand how a man can sit up here and leave a woman with 7 to 8 kids that are all his kids, okay? And don't help the mother out, don't help the woman out at all. Well, right now you see the law of reaping and sowing in operation right now in 2 totally different situations with 2 different men, which both ended up reaping in their life cancer in their body. And both of these men had to come right back to the women that they left. And the women had a chance to stand there and watch these people die in front of them. Remember what I'm saying. Treat people like you want to be treated. Treat people like you want to be treated. For it is written, whatsoever a man or woman soweth, that shall they also reap. Whatsoever a man, also a woman soweth, that shall they also reap. Treat people like you want to be treated. If you want your life to go well, treat other people well. If you want evil in your life, treat other people bad. Treat people evil-wise. and you will have that in your life. A lot of people right now may be having bad experiences in their life, financial problems, health problems, other problems, all because of the way which they've treated other people in the past. My name is Key Air. You are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please share with many people, and peace.